Hello. The video that you're about to watch is a part of a podcast. Since the podcast was very long, I thought why not take the important point and make a separate video out of it. The section that I'm about to discuss is about agriculture. Since it's the most important industry that we have, yet it's the most neglected industry. So, why not ask someone who is very into this industry? You are very intimately engaged with the agricultural industry in India. So, what are the new reforms that are coming in this industry? And should youngsters really look into this industry? Does this industry have enough potential, to give good returns?
You see, the agriculture is the backbone of the country.
Correct.
First, to take the food security,
Mm-hmm.
right? Agriculture is the prime area,
Mm-hmm.
right? And in GDP, it contributes around 14 to 15%
Mm-hmm.
of the GDP. And last few years, almost 10-15 years, the service industry is contributing more than whether it is in agriculture or industrial products.
Mm-hmm.
So agriculture, if you look at most of the young generation, they don't like to get into agriculture.
True.
But if you look at this agriculture, almost 60-65% employment is being here,
Mm.
right? Most of the rural people are engaged in the agricultural sectors.
Mm.
The why agriculture is not attractive,
Mm.
the basic reason is that the technology, there is no much use of technology in the agriculture.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, that it is based on rain factor, how the season works, right? And then the how you will sell your produces. Because the agricultural output market was not organized. Still, it is not in that way organized. Government took a lot of steps, but I believe all of you heard of APMC, right? Agricultural Produce Marketing Committee. That restricts, or that you can say that control the selling of agri produces to the markets, right? So farmers, they grow their produces, but ultimately when they sell in the market, they get very less. If ultimate price, if suppose something 100 rupees, the farmers get around 30 to 40%. So let me tell you how farmers sell their produce in the market. Basically, what happens is that a district has several APMCs. It is divided into, you can imagine them as regions. Now, in these regions, there are certain agents, and the farmers from that particular region can only sell their produce to those particular agents. So what these agents do is that they give the farmers really less, and they take the produce and sell them to us in the market. Now, after the reform done by the government, the aim is to remove the middleman, not completely, but at least at most in most of the regions, and directly connect the farmer to us, due to which the farmers can get good prices for their produce. So return on investment to the farmers is very less. And since it is a traditional way of doing agriculture, it is not attractive in the sense. So, but last few years, if you look at, lot of changes happened. And agri also just, it is a state subject, right? So, if you look at that last few years, lot of emphasis on technology, right? And you should have the certain information that most of the agricultural land are being held by the smaller farmers, right? Or the smaller farmers, maybe they are holding around 2 hectare, 1 to 2 hectare lands. So if that is so, then it is difficult to use the technology in the field. right? So, and also the capacity to spend or invest in that kind of land. Now, government, lot of young generation, even after passing out from IIT, IM, they are getting into this agricultural business. They are doing some startup companies. Like, what is the need in the agriculture? One need is how I can provide the technology to the agricultural field.
Correct.
But the farmers, they don't have that kind of money to spend or invest. So now lot of companies, they are doing some customer hiring centers, some startup companies. Means they are from different farm mechanized companies. They are tying up with them, they are buying machines and they are giving rents to the farmers. So when they give it, so farmers are also getting benefit out of this. So similarly, this new generation, those who are coming and starting the startup, they are also looking at new model of the business, right? So both are gaining out of this, and the yield is improving. The farmers' yields are improving. There are different types of seed are coming, good improved seeds are coming. Different types of fertilizer is coming. There are a lot of innovations happening in fertilizer. Nanotechnology is being thought about. Like some companies, they are nano nitrogen, nano phosphorus. They are working on this. So when they will put it this nano nitrogen, nano phosphate, the yield will be improved, right? And the other challenges is the labor, and this labor challenges is being met by this farm mechanization. When it will farm mechanized, then it will be good. Similar other things is the pesticides. When a lot of pesticide companies are there, so they are also providing very good pesticides, and it is not just people will carry the pesticides or spray in the field. It is now the drone technology is there. Through drone technology they can do it. So other innovations is, right, the forecasting in terms of what would be the crop yield. If I know that crop yield before the crop comes to my farm, then it will help for the farmers as well as those who are procuring the goods, crops. So these are and based on rain or based on your what kind of greenness in the plant, people can predict what would be the yield. The challenges today is that how I will sell my produces, because farmers are getting lower remuneration on this. If government is also focusing that food processing industries, if the food processing industries comes in closer to your farm, I mean closer to the field, the suburb areas, then as soon as the farmers produce, it will go to the food processing industry, because storage is a big challenge. Suppose your yield paddy or wheat has grown like anything, and then if you are not able to store it, then it will be waste. Though it is a particular period, light period is there, but still it would be waste and farmers will not get the right price. And also the food habit trend is also changing. People, it is not just they take the staple food, they are to have, just like corona gives that impression that you have to increase the immunity. For immunity purpose, fruits, vegetables are growing. There's some spices, or it is called cash crop. Cash crops of areas are growing. So these are the areas, if from government side as well as the research institute and those who are in these professions work, definitely it will give better money to the farmers. And also a lot of saving will happen in terms of, because perishable goods, if you are not able to store, if you are not able to process, then it will be a waste. So these are the things government is focusing. Second, as I am talking about APMC, earlier, just few days back, APMC was controlled. It is a state subject and it was controlled by committee, right? And there are certain traders, and farmers are allowed to sell to their designated APMC. They are not allowed to sell beyond APMC. So now government is saying it is not necessary that you have to go to the APMC and sell it, because there are traders are there, they bargain and all sorts of things happen, they don't get the price farmers. Now government is saying that it is not necessary that you have to sell in APMC. You are free to sell anywhere in any mandis or anywhere, wherever you are getting good remuneration. So that is good. That is freeing up the this agri segments. Second is your essential commodities. Agri is being treated as an essential commodity. Under Essential Commodities Act, government says that you cannot store material at a more than what a particular level, right?
Okay.
Because governments have lots of rules and regulation on this. So nobody is coming forward to this storing this material and all this. So now government is giving relaxation that that kind of cap would not be there. So then probably a lot of businessmen will come in this segment and procure this, and they can store whenever crops are coming, and time to time as the demand comes they can release the stocks. So that will give the good for the farmers, as well as some businesses can come up, some employment will also be generated. And other than this, another thing is coming, that is called contract farming.
Contract farming.
So like contract farming, like a lot of companies are there, whether it is a food processing industries or ITC or Hindustan Lever or any other companies, they can come and contract with the farmers. They can say that, okay, you grow this kind of crop at this type of quality.
Okay.
So because before the crop grows, they will give the specification, right? Also, they will help in terms of providing different inputs, whether advisory, crop advisory, or what kind of inputs they have to use. Then as soon as the crop will come, they will buy at the predetermined price.
Okay.
It is not that at that time what the prices are going on in the market, but before sowing the field, they will have a contract. Yes, I will give you this much fruits, or this much paddy, or this much wheat, or this much ragi at this prices. So farmers knows that if I can grow this thing, I will get this much price. So they at the end of the season, they will, or when the crop is coming up, at that time, if the market goes down, it doesn't matter to the farmer. They will get the predetermined. That is a good, and then farmers will also be ready to invest money in their field, right? And they will also grow the quality crop. So that is good. So these are the lot of innovation is coming in the agricultural field, and I believe this will attract a lot of young people, because today if you look at this, most of the above 40-45 people are engaged in the agri segment. Now if it comes, this kind of technology driven agriculture, market opens up, business opportunities are there, export, because if you could, then if export opens up, export is there, but when the export will grow faster, people will get more money in the entire value chain. So lot of young, educated young generation, they will come and invest money. And if you just take example of China today, before that they did already lot of reforms in agriculture, and their focus was on agriculture, whereas in India, we did not that kind of focus had given. Even if you look at just few years back when budget exercise was being done, at that time nobody used to talk about agriculture, hardly few sentences of agriculture. Now if you see that there is a huge change in trend, even in the parliament they are talking much about agriculture, how it will grow. For food security, yes, we have securitized food, but lot of waste happening. But when the population is also growing, when population is growing, your land is limited, right? Land is not growing. Only thing you have to see that how you can improve the yield or productivity. And for that, technology required. For that, good knowledge is required, right? And business model. So this is a good areas where young generation also can look at to grow in their career.
Even though agriculture is a very important industry, people do not invest in it, especially the youngsters. They are very skeptical about this industry, and due to which the agricultural industry is suffering. One of the reasons that India is falling short of China is also because China invested a lot in the agricultural industry. Though their means were really brutal, they did not allow producers from other countries to enter their country with huge tariffs. they tried each and every means by subsidizing and all the other laws. India should not take these brutal steps, but rather should take the innovative steps. The youth, us, can really contribute. We can really invest our minds into the technology, mechanize farming, and really bring innovation with the help of AI, drone technology, robotics.
कि इसका मार्ग एक ही है, आत्मनिर्भर भारत।